What is up, friends, and welcome to From the Mind of Dick. I hope everyone is doing well out there wherever you may be. I am Santa Dick, your host for this episode. Those of you watching, I got a really cheap Santa Claus hat on. Now, something about the Santa Claus hat that you may not know. Why is the Santa Claus hat red and white? I mentioned this in my last Christmas episode, but this is why the Santa Claus hat is red and white. I'm holding a can of Coca-Cola. The reason we wear these red and white hats, the reason the colors for Christmas and Santa Claus are red and white is because of Coca-Cola. If you want to know the whole story about that, Google that shit. But if you want to know the whole story, go listen to my other episode. I kind of mentioned like what that reasoning is and what that means. So my last Christmas episode that I did last year. Speaking of that episode, on that one I talked about like my favorite Christmas songs and like my favorite like Christmas movies and stuff like that. Christmas food, like I talked about my mom's fudge. Like, dude, making fudge is like something I haven't done this year yet, but I need to. But that's my favorite, right? My mom would make a special Richard batch because everyone liked nuts in their fudge, but me. Everyone likes nuts in their fudge. I don't like nuts in or around my mouth. I made that joke before, and you all laughed, and you're laughing again. So, but yeah, stuff like that. Like I like, Christmas Story, Christmas Vacation. Those are the best Christmas movies. I talked about that on that episode. I just talked about that kind of stuff. Just what Christmas means to me and the memories of Christmas and just all the cool shit about Christmas. I work in retail, as most of you know. I work in a grocery store, and I've done that for years. I've worked in grocery stores. It's kind of what I do. I think that's what makes me hate Christmas music. It's just listening to it over and over again, just hearing it all the time. It's like, it doesn't make me happy. It makes me want to, do a little dance. It makes me want to do a little dance. That's what it does. Yeah, right. So I hate Christmas music. But I did talk about how like there's some songs that you hear and it doesn't matter. Like you'll hear these songs and then it's still like they're still badass songs, right? Run Run Rudolph is always good. All I Want for Christmas is a Rock and Roll Electric Guitar. Come on, man. Come on. And my favorite, Last Christmas by Wham and George Michael, rest in peace. Like that's such an amazing song. And every time I hear someone else like covering that song, it's like, dude, that's not a good song. Come on. It's because of who sings it. But anyway, I talked about this on the last episode. And, the California Raisins, like if you guys haven't seen that video for the California Raisins singing Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, like you can't just listen to it. It's like a Motown version. And it's by the California Raisins. If you guys remember, they were doing raisin commercials, California raisin commercials, and they were like Motown singers, right? Kind of like the Temptations and stuff like that, bands like that, groups like that, whatever you want to call them. But it was Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, and the way they sang it was just amazing. And on my last Christmas episode, I sang these songs. I'm not going to bludgeon your ears with my amazing vocals on this episode. I will not do it. Or will I? But I will let you know that song, if you have not, go watch the video. It's a bunch of claymation raisins singing Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. So go watch it. Go watch the video. Look it up on YouTube. Google that shit. But really good. Really good. But Christmas at the same time, it's supposed to be a fun time. It's supposed to be like, these are all the things I love about it. But I fucking hate Christmas. I know that's harsh words to say. Excuse me. But I fucking hate Christmas. Because I always get so fucking stressed out. I'm always like worried about everything because like I hate disappointing everybody. I don't want to disappoint anybody. Because when I disappoint somebody or they're upset with me because of this or I disappointed them, I take it to heart so bad and I feel so horrible. It doesn't matter what it is. Like I hate disappointing people. And when it comes to this time of year, I put so much pressure on myself to make everybody happy. And then sometimes I feel like I didn't make anybody happy. And it's so hard to get through this time of year, because you have right after Christmas, like a week after Christmas, you have rent due, and I have to spend so much money. Like, so every year, I don't know if you guys know this, but when I moved to Utah, um, I made my daughters a promise. I made Kayla and Zoe a promise that I would always be there on Christmas Day when they woke up. Okay. And I've kept that promise every year. I made them a promise. I said, look, well, they asked me to make that promise because they're used to that, right? They're used to having both their parents there. Even after we split up, we both would be there on Christmas, right? I don't think we went a Christmas where both of us weren't there. I mean, me and, Kayla and Zoe's mom, we get along really well. Like, we're still friends. And, we're very good at co-parenting. Not a lot of people can do what we do when it comes to co-parenting. And we made that promise to the girls that they will have both their parents there. It may not be forever, but it's going to be as long as we can possibly make it happen. And, now they're 15 and 13 and they still have both their parents there on Christmas morning. So what I do is I fly down there, usually on Christmas Eve, and I stay the night, and then they wake up and I'm there. And, we're both parents are there. They open up all their presents, usually have like a Christmas breakfast, and then either that day or the next day, like, we do whatever for Christmas. Usually just hang out, do nothing. And then the next day, usually we three of us fly back here to Utah, and we hang out for a couple weeks. Their school this year is a little different. They switched school districts, so they only have 2 weeks off, which I remember that's what it was back in when I was in school. It was always just 2 weeks off, and they used to have, with the LA school district, they used to have 3 weeks off because they shortened their summers and gave them more during the year, which is cool either way. I would rather have a long ass summer and only have 2 weeks for Christmas personally. And I think the girls like that too, but that's what is happening. So I only really get them for a week and a half, which is kind of sad. I used to get them for like 2.5 weeks, right? Because right after Christmas and then right before New Year's, I take them back. So I'm going to lose probably a week with them, but I'm just happy I get to see them. And so they're going to come with me. But the catch is on that, plane tickets are fucking expensive. Even when you fly the cheap airlines, like we've already spent like over $500 just to get them here. Got to spend the same to get them back. We're talking $1,000, over $1,000 just to visit with them for a week and a half. And they're worth every penny, but it's like, I used to have money like that, right? I used to have it like that, but I don't have it like that this year. I'm in kind of a transition. I'm not going to get into it because I don't like talking about finances over, like, I try not to portray that, right? I always want to portray that I'm doing good even when I'm not. But it's fucking expensive, along with rent being due right after. And like, I'll talk about it for a minute. Like, I do make good money. Okay. I make decent money, but I give it all to them. Okay. Because I do, I'm not a deadbeat. I pay my child support. I make sure my kids have what they need. I not only pay the child support to their mom so that she can take care of the kids, but I also give them money. Okay. I give them money, and so that they have spending money. I will sacrifice everything I have so that my kids have what they need. So my kids are happy. I take care of them. Okay. Even the older ones, like I wish Neil would talk to me because I would take care of him too, but he hates me. He doesn't talk to me, but we're not getting into that. June needed something. Me and my girlfriend made it happen. Okay. Even at 26 years old, I take care of my kids. Even though I'm here in Utah, I take care of my kids. So I'm broke all the time because of that, because my kids get most of my money. Last year, I made more money. Last year, I made a lot of money. So it didn't bother me. Though $1,000 on plane tickets wasn't even a big deal. I was killing it, right? I was killing it. I was working my ass off. I was never home. That's why I did step down. And I am in kind of a transition. I do probably want to work my way back up into that. But, I was pimping last year. I had money. Pimping. I'm gangsta. But I was fine. And this year it's a little different, and it's depressing. I feel like I never should have stepped down. I was really pretty good at what I was doing. And I really feel like I never should have stepped down because I lost like over $1,000 a month. That's a big cut. It's a big cut. That's a big cut in wages, Most of it was overtime because I was spending my life at my job. So I guess it is better, but it's like, when it comes down to Christmas, it's like, I feel like like I'm going to disappoint somebody. And when it comes to this apartment, like I like it here. It's a nice apartment. It's really expensive. I wasn't thinking. And not only that, when you are late over the 3 day grace period, they charge you like 500-600 bucks extra in fees. They make sure you don't pay late. The last apartment that I was in, they charge you 75 bucks. That was it for the whole month. Like you could be as late as you wanted, but you're just going to pay 75 bucks. And that's it. Flat fee. If you went more than a certain time, then they start saying, hey, you got to get out of here. Like if you want like 30 days and they say, okay, you got to pay. But this place is like fee, all these different fees adding up to like 500 bucks. I'm like, holy shit. Like we had a payment not go through, and it wasn't like it didn't go through. It's just like something happened with it, and we thought that we paid, and something happened, and it wasn't our fault. We went and they had the fees removed. Like this totally wasn't our fault. But we looked at the statement and we we're like, whoa! It says we didn't pay this like part of this rent, and now we owe like $1,500. We're like, holy shit! We flipped out. We went in and talked to him. We got it taken care of. It wasn't something that was our fault. It really wasn't. We were at a place that didn't have service, like when we went to the place for our birthdays, and something happened. So we didn't know that was going to happen, and we saw that. We're like, we're not going to be late on our rent. We're paying that shit. So anyway, it was like we have to pay rent. Is my point. Like that has to happen. So the money that we've already spent, and now we still have to get the girls home. Like we already got the plane tickets for them to come here, but we got to get them home. And so we're like stressed out about that. We're like, are we just going to drive them because it's going to end up saving us like 300 bucks? And then we got to spend 20 hours of drive time. Everything's worth it so I can spend a week and a half with my kids, even though the whole time I'm going to be fucking working. Because my dumbass used up all my PTO. But what did I use my PTO on? You might ask. We went to Hawaii, so I had to use my PTO. I only got a week's vacation, and I got like 5 personal days, and I've kind of scattered the personal days, you know. And I said, I'll figure out the rest. We'll just figure it out. But I don't have time off. Next year, I should have 2 weeks plus 5 PTO days or 5 personal days. So I have a plan. I'm going to use 1 week during the summer, 1 week during Christmas, like after Christmas, the week after, and then I'm going to scatter the other 5 days. Hold on. So that's my plan. But my point in all this is all the shit that goes on in my ADHD brain, in the mind of Dick, trying to figure out to make sure I don't disappoint everybody, so I can get the girls here, so I can hang out with them, so I can feed them, so I can give them a good Christmas, so I can pay all this money to get them here and take them back. And you may ask, like, why don't they fly by themselves? They're 15 and 13. Well, it's just a decision that their mother and I made. We're going to do this, right? I moved. I'm going to take care of it. That's the deal. That's the deal I made. So, but it's worth it, like I said. You know, when I hear like the song, "That's What Christmas Means to Me," I heard that today, actually. It's funny because I heard it at work today. And this is what Christmas means to me, is stress and being broke and maybe not being able to eat for a week, having to live off of fucking tater tots and rice. You know, maybe that's what I have to eat for a week until I get paid, because I got to make sure everybody's happy and everybody's taken care of. And it's rough, man. It's really rough. Like Christmas shouldn't be that. Christmas should be like happiness and being with family. And, you know, it's just so fucking stressful. And I guess, you know, that's what you can say, that's what life is like being an adult. And especially when you have kids, it's like, you know, and I can say, hey, you got to figure out how to make more money, Dick. You got to fucking figure out how to make more money, you know? But you know, the more money, more problems, right? So it seems like even when I was making good money, I still had problems. I still was worried about money. So either that, or I was worried about like having time because I was always at work, getting off work at, starting work at 3, 4 a.m. and not getting off until 3, 4 p.m. every day. Yeah, my checks were good, but like by the time I get off work, I'm so tired, I don't want to do anything. Or it's always like, my girlfriend would ask me, hey, you want to do this? Want to do that? I can't. I'm going to be tired. It's like I already know I'm going to be tired tomorrow. Got a big day. I got to do this and this and that. So yeah, I'm going to be tired. But so I got rid of all that stress and all that stuff that was going on with, that part of the job. But now I don't have any money. At the end of the day, it's like I barely have anything. But right now, as I'm speaking to you, all my bills are paid. Everything's good. Girls got Santa. All the Santas got all the girls pretty much everything they wanted. Yeah, everybody's pretty much taken care of. And I'm getting them here. So now there's two things I got to figure out. How to pay my rent, which I do have a little bit of it. How to pay my rent. And how to get the girls home. Kind of important things. But I got 2 paychecks left. And one of them is going to have an extra Christmas, going to have Christmas on it. One of them is going to have like 2 hours overtime that I got this week. And then like the next one's going to have Christmas. And maybe I'll get some overtime. I don't know if I'm going to have overtime next week. Probably not. But hopefully. I'm trying to sneak it in. I'm trying to sneak some overtime in because, it adds up. And, an extra couple $100 a month in overtime, like really adds up. Like I need it, right? So I'm trying to do it best I can. Like all I have is like my body to work. That's all I really have. So, but like I'm too exhausted. I think because I'm too old to get like a second job. Like I probably should just get a second job, do something else. But I'm so exhausted all the time that it's just like, I don't know. My brain can't function, So I don't know. Life is rough, man. Life is rough, but I'm happy. Like I'm a happy person. I'm really happy, guys. Like, don't get me wrong. This time of year, I get really stressed the fuck out. It sucks. And it's just because I put all this pressure on myself. I put all this pressure on myself. But the other day, this kind of made me feel a little better. Like, I don't know. The other day I was going through, I was just watching. I don't know if I told you guys, I bought a VCR. And for those of you kids that are listening to this, so my daughters told me that their friends now listen to my podcast, and now their friends' moms listen to my podcast. So it's getting bigger, guys. I started this as just a hobby, just for fun, because it's always something I wanted to do. And now like my daughter's friends' moms are listening to it. So that's good. But now I got to watch what I say. Nah, fuck that. I say what I want. It's the mind of Dick. But what was I saying? I don't even remember. But fuck, I forgot what I was going to say. ADHD. That is ADHD right there. I was about to say something. Then I went on a tangent about something else. But, I bought a VCR. And for those of my daughter's friends who don't know what a fucking VCR is, for those of you who don't know what a VCR is, it's you play VHS tapes. I'm sure you guys have seen that. Like us old people used to put these tapes in and you had to like push rewind on them and they go zzz. Actually had these machines that would rewind. Anyway, I bought a VCR. Also had a DVD player. I bought it at a thrift store. It actually works really good. And I have these old VHS tapes of just like a lot of the band stuff, which I've showed you guys, a couple of things the band playing. And then also like I found some old like stuff of the kids, the big kids, which back then we didn't have cell phones, so we could just take video, pull our phone out of our pocket and take videos. You Gen Zers, you see how good you have it? Like you've grown up having cameras and phones in your pocket, have computers in your pocket. We didn't have that. We didn't have that back then. So I had a video camera, like a video camera. Actually, I think I had one of the big ones that took a full VHS, and then I had another one that was a small one. But anyway, I had a video camera back then, and I was watching this video of of Christmas, it was 2001 because Neil was a baby, newborn. He was born in August of 2001, and this was Christmas. He was still a baby. And June was like 3, right? Was born in 98. Not a mathematician, but that would make her 3. 3? Okay. So June was 3. And just looking at like how happy I was at that time, and not saying I'm not happy now, because I'm extremely happy like in life. You know, it's hard, but I'm extremely happy. But just like, I feel like sometimes the like that was what Christmas was about, right? Back then. That was where Christmas felt like Christmas, right? We'd go to my dad's house in the morning, and usually we'd get there in the morning, and then we'd have like lunch there, do the present thing there after we did our present thing at home. And then from there, we'd go to my mom's house at a certain time and spend the rest of the day at my mom's house. It was hard because we had to go to 3 different places, right? So we had to figure it out. Most of the time we'd spend either Christmas Eve or Christmas at my mom and dad's house, my dad's house and my mom's house. Anyway, so I was just watching this video and I'm just like thinking like, man, that was Christmas, man. That's what Christmas meant to me. You know, I wasn't really stressed out about like making sure everybody was happy. I don't know. I don't know why I've got myself so like stressed out about Christmas the last few years. I know that there's been times in the past where I disappointed people, where I like bought gifts that I thought were good gifts and they turned out to be not what the person wanted. And I maybe felt like shit. So I've done that in the past and maybe I have PTSD about that, but I just always feel like I'm going to disappoint everybody. So I do my best to not, and then I end up like stressing myself out over it and overworking myself and not sleeping and like feeling like shit and not eating right and getting bubble guts because I'm so fucking stressed out. But watching that video and seeing like, you know, interactions with my little baby June and, you know, all that stuff, it just, you know, it made me feel like that, like that's what Christmas should be about. Just being happy. So even though I'm entirely like over it and I can't wait for fucking Christmas to be over, I fucking hate Christmas. Like, I'm going to try to enjoy it and I'm going to try to have a good time. When I go to see the girls for Christmas, Christmas morning when they wake up, I'm going to try to have the best time. I'm going to try not to think about all the other stuff. And you know what? No matter whatever happens, no matter how stressed out I get, like when everything gets like out of control, I smoke a joint. I'm just kidding. I don't smoke a joint. I'm sober. I was going to say, whenever I get stressed out like that and things seem like they're not going to work out, like somehow me and my girlfriend together, we're such a good team. We figure it out, and we've already talked about it. We're going to figure it out. We're definitely going to figure it out this year, guys. And everybody's going to have an amazing Christmas. It's going to be fun times, and I'm not going to lose my shit. I'm not going to be like Clark Griswold and go nuts because I don't have any money and can't pay my rent. Sometimes I feel like that rant at the end when he's like, "Merry Christmas, holy shit." I love that. Sometimes I feel that way. Like I relate to Clark Griswold all the time because that's how I feel. I also like when he's like, "Fuck you." Kiss my ass. Kiss his ass. That's why that's the best movie. That's the best Christmas movie. I mean, technically Die Hard's the best Christmas movie. Just kidding. It's not a Christmas movie. What else do I have to say? Probably nothing. So that's probably going to be it. We got this. Guys, we got this. Okay? I'm going to have shirts made that say we got this or you got this because I want to start ending every episode of my podcast by telling everybody that, okay? That is, to me, that's like what I always try to say whenever any of my friends, like at work, right? They're like stressed out. They're like, "Hey man, you got this." And it lifts people up because you start thinking about, you know what? I do. But guys, you got this. We got this. Merry fucking Christmas. I hope you guys have a great one. I love you all. Thank you all for the support. The podcast is slowly growing. I think with consistency, it's just going to, dude, I'm going to be bigger than Joe Rogan. Watch this shit. Love you guys. This is short and sweet, but gotta go. Peace.